Have you ever held a position of power? Either in school, at the office, or even within your community. Leadership is not only one of the most important parts of our lives that ensures law and order, but also an important skill for standing up for yourself. Even if you don't hold a leadership position, you're still a leader in a way, the captain of your own ship, and you'll need all the help to see that you achieve your goals. Interestingly, Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of England who reigned for more than 70 years, showed us that leading can be a daunting task, but with the right approach, you can overcome obstacles with grace and integrity. So, how did she do it? How did she handle the English royal household while standing as a glamorous pillar of hope and consistency amidst controversy that almost tore the royal family apart? Stick with us to the very end to find out how. Among many of the Queen's values, her confidence stood out. Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary took the reign of leadership at the young age of 25, when most of her age mates were still trying to figure out what life was about. She was already made to shoulder the role of controlling a whole nation. Although she had already been preparing to do so for the longest time, she must still have felt a bit nervous. But it was never obvious to the public. She always stood confidently when addressing her subjects, proving that fear and doubt about one leadership position can be solved with a little bit of confidence. Queen Elizabeth faced many challenges during her reign, so you should know that being in charge isn't only about having control over outer circumstances, but having control over your reactions to those circumstances and how you deal with problems. She faced problems relating to her reign, political affairs, and family drama. And through it all, she kept her shoulders high and addressed every issue with a lot of confidence. The Queen's confidence level was top-notch, but her bravery was on another level. It wasn't one we got to see play out publicly very much, but no one ever doubted that she possessed such a nature, given that she had worked really hard to maintain the monarchy despite many attacks. But a time came when the Queen had to put protocol aside to reveal how brave she was, especially when she was fighting for equality for a marginalized group of people. Political and economic power had been stripped from the royal household, and they were now simply ceremonial yet deeply loved. So most of the political decisions were made by the United Kingdom Prime Minister, a position that was famously held by Margaret Thatcher between 1979 to 1990 and which was just transferred to another person, Liz Truss, in 2022. Usually, the Queen is expected to be very supportive of the decisions made by the Prime Minister and was not allowed to object, and neither did she show public disdain for the choices made by the Prime Minister. But sometimes, you have to take a stand against something clearly wrong, even if you're supposed to keep quiet and just nod. During Margaret Thatcher's prime ministry, the apartheid system designed to encourage systematic racial segregation in South Africa was gaining more opposition, to the point where political action had to be taken. In 1986, the Commonwealth nations agreed to sanction the South African government. The sanction was signed by 48 nations out of 49. One country held out: Britain. This was to the horror of the Queen, who was shocked that the sanction wasn't signed by Britain, meaning that the country was indeed in support of the apartheid. The Queen was deeply upset with Thatcher's decision and almost cancelled one of their weekly meetings. The Queen apparently shared her thoughts on the issue, which was released anonymously, saying the Queen is dismayed by Thatcher's lack of compassion for the people of South Africa. Although Thatcher would later clear the air with a report saying Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher had a blanket opposition to economic sanctions of any kind, believing they would not achieve their goal and would damage Britain's extensive economic interests. But the Queen stuck her neck out with that move, which could have worked against the royal family. Regardless, people were very pleased that she stood up for the people of a just cause and ultimately won their admiration and love. Again, the Queen was very devoted to keeping a dignified image of the royal family and was very protective of it. However, the royal family was hit with tragic news that threatened it, and also helped the Queen realize that sometimes she needs to lead with her heart. The royal family and the entire country was hit with shocking news. Princess Diana had died in a car crash. The people's princess had passed away. Despite divorcing Prince Charles, Diana was loved by the people, especially for her humanitarian work and kindness. So it was very heartbreaking to find out that their favorite royal figure had passed away. Many people were very angry with the royal family for not protecting Diana enough and felt that they allowed her death to happen. They also believed that the royal family had mistreated her for the longest time. They also felt that the Queen was too quiet about her death and that Diana wasn't getting the honor she deserved. Their rage might have surprised the Queen, who was busy shielding her grandkids from the media and trying to ensure everything was as it should be. In the end, the Queen decided not to follow strict royal protocols, but to listen to the people's desires. So, to appease the angry citizens, the Queen flew back to London and gave a televised speech about Diana. She consoled the nation and allowed the Union Jack to fly at half-mast above Buckingham Palace, which wasn't done initially. These actions expressed very well the feelings of her people, and was apparently the right thing to do. There are rules and regulations, but there will always come a time when your heart has to do the leading to ensure the needs of those around you are met. Interestingly, this has influenced the tasks of the royal family, and they have now become even more receptive to the citizens. They've dedicated more of their lives to visiting normal places like schools, hospitals, and factories, instead of only dining with high-class politicians. Another quality the Queen possessed that displayed how good of a leader she was her ability to be flexible and resilient. This was not the easiest, especially since she was ruling a monarchy way older than her and that had rules that had existed before her time. But as time went on, some rules had to be changed in order to fit with the modern times we now live in. In doing so, she became a symbolic link between the old and modern times. She found a way to fit the monarchy into modern times so it could continue. She was able to achieve this because she felt the wind of change and felt that she needed to find a way for the monarchy to continue to participate. This earned her a lot of admiration, especially because it's not something that's been achieved by many royal families with no political power. This quality can make you a good leader, so you can understand when changes need to happen instead of stubbornly holding on to a specific view. Once you're able to figure out how to be flexible and resilient when required, you'll be able to solve a lot of issues even better. The Queen also showed a certain level of humility that was not very common for a person of her position. She was often referred to as kind and gentle and would address her subjects with the best attitude. She was always quick to admit when she wasn't right and sought advice for the best option, enabling her to lead the royal household efficiently. Humility is a very important quality when functioning as a leader. It'll help those following you to enjoy taking instructions from you and makes it easier to lead your team. All through the Queen's reign, she traveled far and wide for one duty or the other. She readily gave her thoughts to whatever affair was presented before her, showing how brilliant and diligent she was. The Queen handled every matter with enough sense to know how much she should contribute, not just to protecting her image, but the image of the country she represents. Anything she said was automatically a reflection of the ideologies the UK represented. The Queen understood that moderation was essential to her reign. She understood that knowing her limits would always save her a lot of embarrassment. This will make you an outstanding leader if you decide this is for you. Throughout her lifetime, the Queen has shown so much value that can be copied. She's consistently displayed humility, ready to give her people the much-deserved attention by appearing at various events where she gets the chance to mix with the common people. The Queen was also very tolerant, even with the smallest member of the royal house. She never lost her temper or mistreated her staff. She was also gracious and very committed towards her duties and only began to let go of some roles due to old age. All of these are important values that should be emulated by anyone, whether you're in a place of authority or not. Not only will it make you a better person, but it'll help you achieve notable respect and genuine love. So, despite the controversies faced by the royal family under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, she's remained loved and respected by her people and many around the world. So, what was your favorite thing about the Queen? And what part of her reign do you hope to follow in terms of leadership? Share with us in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching.